The single most important practice that is at the basis of Stoic philosophy is to differentiate between what's in our control and what is outside it. What we have influence over and what we don't. What we can change and what we cannot. And then only focusing on what's in our control. As Seneca said, that the chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control and which have to do with the choices I actually control. Where then do I look for good and evil? Not to uncontrollable externals, but within myself to the choices that are my own. For example, maybe your flight got delayed because of a storm. Well, no amount of yelling or complaining or frustration will make the storm go away. No amount of wishing will make you taller or shorter or born in a different country. You cannot make someone like you. And the more time you spend on pointlessly trying to change something that cannot be changed, the less time you'll have on what's actually in your control, on what actually you can change. Now you might be asking, then what is in my control? Well, the choices that you make right now, that's in your control. The judgments that you make about things, your opinion about things, how you react to a situation, how you respond to a situation, that's also in your control. What you're going to do right now, your actions, the stories that you tell yourself, that's also in your control. How you choose to look at the situation, from which perspective you decide to look at it. And because these things are in your control, you have the ability to change them. You can choose to look at something from a different perspective. You can choose to not have that opinion. You can choose to change your judgments about something. And if you have noticed, all of the things that are in your control is here right now. They are in this present moment. Because the future and the past, you have absolutely no control over them. And even more, they don't even exist. In reality, there is only this present moment. Reality is this present moment. The past and the future are just abstractions that exist in our thoughts. They have no real substance to it. And this practice has probably helped me the most so far from Stoicism. I probably use it every day. For example, when I'm stuck in traffic. There is nothing that I can do there. It's completely out of my control whether or not I'll arrive in time. How long the traffic is going to take, it's completely out of my control. So I ask myself, what is in my control? Well, how I respond to that situation, my opinion about that traffic, my judgments about it. So instead of becoming frustrated, angry, impatient, I decide that this is a great time to practice patience. So why not instead respond in a different way, because it's completely out of my control. So instead I just listen to a podcast. I listen to some music, have some fun, sing or dance. Just relax, because it's completely out of my control. For another example, one time I was frustrated that my videos were not getting views. And then I thought to myself, is this in my control? Well, no, the amount of people that watch my videos is completely out of my control. So why not instead focus on what's in my control? And what was in my control and what is still in my control is to keep providing valuable videos and to keep making videos and trying to make them better. That is in my control. Everything else, the result is completely out of my control. And this is another thing. What you do, that's in your control. But the result of that thing, the outcome, what you get, is completely out of your control. This is why it's not always good to have your eye always on the outcome. And also the interesting thing is that the moment I started focusing on what's actually in my control, the frustration went away like this. Because I realized that no amount of frustration or anger will do anything about it. There's no point in getting frustrated. It's out of my control. And here's another example, and you can probably relate to this. When there's a big exam coming up or a big test, and I always see people stressing themselves out and then being anxious about it and all of that. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be anxious, like you should never be anxious. No. There are some situations where anxiety is the completely natural response. But you gotta realize at the same time that no amount of anxiety will change the outcome of anything. It won't change a thing, it will probably even make it worse. So yet again, you gotta ask yourself, what is in my control? What I will get on the test, that's out of my control. How the teacher will grade it, out of my control. What's in my control is how I respond to it. How much do I study for that test? Will I get enough sleep so that I will actually remember what I learned? Choosing to look at the positive side, that's in my control. Being grateful for the things that I have, that's in my control. Choosing to look at it from a different perspective, telling the story in a different way. And other examples of where I use this practice is like, what do other people think of me? That's also just completely out of my control. Like, I can try the hardest that I can, but I just cannot change what people think of me. That's completely out of my control. So I can just try to be my best and be myself. And then what other people think of me, that's their business. That's their problem, not mine. That's out of my control. And also the past and the future, as we already said, it's also just completely out of my control. So there's no point of ruminating over it or being so anxious, worrying about it. It's completely out of your control and my control. Now, you might have noticed that in every single case of these examples that I gave you, the situation itself was neutral. It wasn't good, it wasn't bad. We put those labels of good, of bad, of annoying on them. But the situation itself, it was just neutral. Two different people could have reacted completely differently to the same situation. One person is happy when it's raining outside and the other person is sad. And now here's a little secret. You can choose what to pay attention to. You can choose what to focus on. You can choose how you respond. So the question is, which side of the coin will you focus on? Because there is plenty of good and bad in this world. And the only thing that will decide how you feel about these things, how you feel about your life, is what you put your attention to, what you focus on. So the next time that you think to yourself that, oh, I got to go to school again, oh, I got to work again, just imagine that there are thousands of people out there that would happily switch places with you, that would do anything to be in your shoes. Those people that are in horrible conditions, who are fighting so that they can survive every day, who are starving. Those people would do anything to be in your shoes. And to be honest, if you're watching this video, you're probably living like a medieval king, to be honest. Like, you got a comfortable place to live at, probably. You got clean water, food, medicine, some people around you, a phone to watch this video on, or a computer. You're living better than a medieval king. And I'm not saying this as a guilt trip to show how good you have it. This just actually shows the real source of your problems. Like, most of our problems are not very real. Like, they are just made by our mind. They have no like real substance to it. There are these like first world problems. So what's in your control is to refocus, to choose to look at it from a different perspective, to be grateful, to be thankful for the things that you have right now. And now let me ask you this great question regarding gratitude. If you could be famous, rich and powerful, but not conscious, would you take the deal? To be honest, I don't think that anyone would take the deal. No one wants to lose their consciousness. Perhaps your consciousness is aware of the sun shining on your face, the wind blowing on your face, or the scent of flowers. The greatest gift of gratitude is right in front of us because it is us. It is our consciousness. Isn't that crazy? So I recommend you to keep this practice in mind. To put it up your wall, put it as a phone, background, whatever. What is in my control? Is this in my control? Ask yourself this question in any situation. And just see the effect that it has. Like I promise you that it will change a bunch of things in your life. So thank you for being here. If you're interested in doing free one-on-one calls, if you have any questions, if you want to ask me anything, you can send me an email and we'll arrange a video call or something like that. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this video. Hoping you the best. All the love towards you. Have a great day and goodbye.